one thing that has come up recently quite a bit is variations or twisters. And in terms of how do you really design variations? They
Yeah.
can be too much, can lead to shopper confusion, too little, you lose sales. Any thoughts on like how this company could be potentially, is two the right number, or would you have more twisters here?
Yeah. Well, first, let's do something. Why is the one $260 and the other one's $250?
Great question. Yeah.
Right. If I'm buying so the twister, if the price is different and the customer doesn't see an understandable
Mm,
reason, right? That reduces trust, right? When
mm,
I go to, if I'm going to go to the store and buy a new pair of jeans, I don't expect to pay more, because my waist got bigger by an inch, because I'm, enjoying my food, or pay less because my working out, is doing good and I went down an inch. I think it's probably gonna be the same thing. So if you have a twister, careful on your pricing because this might even be accidental, right? I found that even Amazon's own private label will have variances in pricing. Sometimes it's accidental. It's often common on the outliers, so the small and big sizes, right? But let's shop for some sheets.
But
Let's
on
look at
that end, Stefan, Amazon controls the price on this. Do you
yeah,
think?
this is one piece.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
even Amazon's own stuff created a
Is,
price variance, right?
do you think one could enforce MAP, for instance, in this?
I think there's something to look at there.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
But
Okay.
so having enough twisters, customer, so this twister is this variations, what sometimes we call it twisters,
Mm-hmm.
but this variation set, this is based on color. It's just
Mm-hmm.
one dimensional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I would actually, I would like, why not have more colors, right? Now, if we were to shop for a set of sheets, say something from a brand called California Design Den,
Mm-hmm.
sheets come in size and color, right? They also come in thread count. So if I could say I'm going to try to package all those California Design Den sheets, yeah, that's a great set.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, these are 800 thread count. They've chosen to do different products, different variation sets by thread count. They did not mix the thread count in here. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
great because thread count is the price driver. So, a 400 thread count is, going to be down around $40 instead of $80. And customers like precise prices instead of 40 to 80, right? Because 40 to 80 just gave them a puzzle to figure out. So we look at California Design Den, and they have three different things to your question of how much is too many and what should they make their variation set on. They have thread count, which they've done here. And they've said, hey, we're going to have a variation set by 800 thread count. We're not going to mix 800 and 400. That's smart because there's a big price difference. We're looking at now, should they keep going? Should they make a parent that says, hey, we're going to just do king sizes versus letting customers jump here? I don't know, it might be a test. And then they have a set of colors here. Sometimes I've seen 20, 25 colors in shirts or clothing or other things, right? This seems like a pretty manageable set,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of what is it? 8, 4,
None of them.
8, 10,
Yeah.
right? And it's all in the same colors. It's not like they've mixed plaids or patterns or flowers or floral in here. The reason why I note that 10 is it's pretty well known that people can easily remember 7 things, right? Sets of 7. But when it gets beyond 7, so there's fun cognitive test. You can watch conversion go down as you add choices beyond numbers. And it's not necessarily the number of variations, it's the number of can the customer break it into manageable groups? The Stanford Jam test is a pretty well published study. You can, Google that up and research it. And they did a test of, do too many choices reduce customers' proclivity to buy? And yes, having 7 to 10 jam choices at the grocery store versus apricot pear and raspberry banana. Well, that'd be a bad jam.
That's interesting.
Raspberry, raspberry or raspberry prune or some other mixes. It becomes difficult.
So how do you then, have you seen any best practices in saying, well, let's say, for instance, the order rates are low, and or would you recommend taking them out so that you can potentially increase your conversion because you're being more focused to the consumer?
Yeah, I think when I think about variations, what I think of first is did I group them correctly? So I like the 800 thread count because that's a price driver. We're going to have a consistent $79 price. We're not going to be creating ranges. That makes it easy for the customer. They also don't feel tricked if they want the low price and they end up only finding the high price meeting their needs because they needed king sheets. That'd be bad, right? Or they needed, four anyway. So we eliminated price range. The next thing that I like here as a best practice is, they, and I don't know from the title, but they could have a line of floral sheets. That's another great variation set. By keeping the variation set down to, something around 7 to 10, or something that customers can group, right? Again, if you think like jeans, there's straight leg jeans, boot cut jeans, all these different styles as well as sizes. You may end up helping yourself to create, those sets of, I'm going to have a boot cut parent ASIN, or the boot cut and everything comes down. But it's a good thing to test. So similar prices, and get the grouping size to something that's the customers manage. You'll see it in conversion, if you're making them evaluate too many choices.
That's a
Because every
great level of comment.
variation is you're asking them to evaluate another product. You're basically making the shelf wider for them to consider.